Welcome to BMO Radio with your host, Eric Spencer, president of the Black Man's Option.
Good evening, YouTube. How are you gentlemen doing tonight on this Halloween, this trick or treat, so to speak? I apologize last night for our little delay that we were having. This new software that we're still working out, it's a little it's a little hard to learn, but we're getting it. But I want to welcome you to our BMO radio show. It's normally scheduled on Sunday night, but like I said before, we had a little bit of technical difficulty, and we're still working the kinks out. We're new to this YouTube channel thing, but we're going to get it right sooner or later. So I just want to say thank you for being here. And once again, we're still starting from scratch. We're here to continue Charles's legacy, and it's a good feeling for us to be back. Normally, my co-host, Coach Greaves, he normally is here tonight, but he probably out doing some trick-or-treating. So, and a lot of the other guys that are in the BMO admin, they do have other priorities that they have to take care of. So I'm gonna be solo tonight, but I just wanted to share a subject that's been going around YouTube, especially concerning the passport bros, travel brothers, black men that have been traveling overseas, yada yada yada. And before I get into the meat of what I want to talk about, let me share two clips so that it can give you some context of what I'm going to speak about tonight. Hold on for 1 second.
Black men, quote unquote, who travel, the passport bros not.
I'm going to share this. All right, here's the first clip.
Black men, quote unquote, who travel, the passport bros not marry. Well, of course, I have a whole Facebook group, American Black Men Married to Foreign Women. We're up close to 200 members now. Let me salute that. That's called evidence.
Shout out to Pablo Frescobar. He's doing good work over there. Shout out to you, brother, and congratulations on that Facebook group. Let's continue.
Close to 200 members now. Let me salute that. That's called evidence. And Obsidian, if you would allow me to share screen here.
Yeah, no, go right ahead.
Okay, I just. This is one of our members here in Brazil.
I know that guy.
First clip. Shout out to Philly, one of our BMO members on the admin team. Appreciate you, brother. I just had to share that. I was interested in that Pablo pulled up that clip of you and your wife. The next clip I'm going to share is going to be very interesting, and this is from Miss Chantel Simone live stream that she had a couple days ago. And like I said, I'm new to this, so let me go ahead and put it out there. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why black people in America seem to think they are the only black people on earth. It's very, it's very puzzling to me.
I don't, and I promise you, I did not realize this until YouTube. I didn't realize until the amount of comments I was getting that I'm not black. My birth certificate saying black. My passport that I just used the last year. I'm using the blue book last week. Pardon me. I'm using that blue book too. I was going through. They don't stamp it no more because I guess they have the passport card, so they don't stamp the passports no more.
Sorry, I had my mic muted. That clip was from Miss Chantel Simone, and once again, shout out to Pablo Frescobar. But she made a very interesting point about blackness, and that the B Dubs seem to think they have the monopoly on black women. And we're going to talk about it tonight because I've been hearing a lot lately about who's black and who's not. And I know it's probably been talked about ad nauseum by other people, but for the BMO, we're going to set our record straight as what we think black women and who has the monopoly on them. Let me share one more picture, and I'm just going to go through it real quick. Like I said, bear with me. My wingman, he's probably taking his daughter out to trick or treat. So, as you can see tonight, this was our thumbnail. And on the thumbnail, we have who's real and who's fake. Now, if you look at this picture closely, of course, you can see that Miss Megan Good is up front, and along with Chloe and Haley Bailey. We know those women are from the United States. But every other woman in this thumbnail is either from Central or South America. But for the average looker, who would be able to distinguish between who's black and who's not? I know I couldn't. And I'm gonna tell you right now, good Lord, especially have been to some of these countries, I'm not too interested myself. I mean, but there's a nice mixture of here. There's some Colombians up here. There's some Brazilians up here. There's even an African or two up here. But you have to look at who's real and who's fake. And that's what's been talked about in the spaces pertaining to black and being a black woman. And you hear that a lot of the times from black American women, that they think they have the monopoly on blackness. And that's just not true. That's just not true at all. The transatlantic slave dropped off more slaves in Central and South America than they did in the United States. And I know I talk to guys and they're talking about, I only want to date black women. Brother, you don't have to limit yourself to just the United States. And here's the proof. Because if you were to go someplace and you're looking for a black woman, Take your pick. You have a smorgasbord of mocha or caramel or pecan tan or whatever your sweetness is. You don't have to limit yourself to being here. And the women here don't have the monopoly on blackness. And I'm going to tell you why. A couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to go to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C. If you haven't been, I suggest you go. It's very interesting. It's like 6 levels, and you have to start in the bottom and work your way up. And trust me, it takes all day to actually go through and view the museum. And it has a lot of history that's very interesting pertaining to our origins. Let me share with you something that I found interesting. Now, I took a picture, but the picture is not as good and clear as the one I'm about to share with you. This picture here represents an approximation of the number of slaves that were deposited into different regions of North America, Central America, and South America. Let me, I tell you what, let me do something. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay. And as you can see here, this map details the amount of slaves they estimate that were deposited into certain regions of Central and South America. And one of our favorite destinations that us black men like to travel to is Brazil. And we get pushback all the time that you men are just traveling so that you can date a Becky or you want to date an exotic woman. But as you can see here, 3,169,000, and these are estimates. I've seen estimates as high as 6 million. But if you look right up here in the United States, this number is 307,000. And the most that I've ever seen was 400,000, which is interesting that we have almost 50 million black people based on the last census that was conducted in 2020 here in the United States versus 3,169,000, which me personally, I think that's conservative. I think that number is a lot higher, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because especially in the northern region of Brazil, you see a lot of people that are melanated. And in the state of Bahia, you have the largest percentage of descended slaves in that province. And we're not even going to talk about Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, Panama, and the list just goes on and on and on. So we have a shared history. We have the same background. The only difference is they got off the boat a little earlier. So when the argument is presented about black men are going overseas, they just want to date something exotic. That's not true. Because most black men are looking to date black women. But you don't have to limit yourself to the black women here. And some dudes, they have reservations about traveling because they want to stay within the working frame of blackness. And they might not want to go to Africa. Maybe they don't feel like they have anything in common, which me personally, I think that's a mistake. But I'll share that at the end of the broadcast. And when you go and you tell brothers, hey man, go get your passport. Go someplace and look and see that black women are not limited to the matrix. Now let's take a look at a couple of Afro-Colombians that we have right here. I don't know these women. I just hit DuckDuckGo and I went and I just want to peruse Afro-Colombian women. And these are women that identify as being descendant of slaves. The first Afro-Colombian woman to win Miss Colombia. Afro-Colombian Woman Appreciation Thread. I need to get on that thread. I need to appreciate all that. Man, I'm not even going to say too much anymore. I'm just going to go through a couple of more of these. But these are Afro-Colombian women. And if you were to see these women out on the street here, then you would say they're black. I know I would. So when you hear the argument about those women aren't black, let's just call it what it is. It's BS. It's BS. Because these women have the same shared history as we do. Now let's jump over here to one of my favorite countries, Afro-Brazilian. Now I'm going to keep it PG here. I'm not going to get into anything too much. We're just going to give you a sample. But most of the brothers that have traveled before, they see this on the regular. They know exactly what it is. And in these cultures, these women identify with being black. Especially in Brazil, a lot of the Afro-Brazilians are now identifying themselves as Afro-Brazilians, whereas before they were all Brazilians, because they're starting to do what we did in the 60s. They're starting to separate themselves and be proud of their heritage. And like I said, anybody that were to tell you that these women are black, they need to get their damn eyes checked. Something is really wrong with them. And like I said, everybody has their own flavor, but at the same time, don't limit yourself to being here in the United States. We've been told for far too long that your mama black. Yes, my mother is black. But so are these women here too. Because nobody in America is 100% black. Everybody's done the DNA test, 23andMe. We're all mixed with something. But the language that is being presented to us is that you're limiting yourself to dating black women, then I have to stay here in the States. And that's just not true. There is a smorgasbord of black women in Central and South America and in the Caribbean islands. So I'm encouraging brothers, don't listen to what's being spread on YouTube, the propaganda about you're abandoning your community because you don't want to date black women. No, there's plenty of black women for you to date. All you have to do is just choose to shop in another store. Shout out to Edward Anderson. That's one of his quotes that I used for a long time. Me personally, I like to say it, you like to drive domestic, I like to drive foreign. That's just the way I roll. But but there has been a argument that we as black men, we want to date black women. We want to date somebody that looks like us. And I get that. But the argument has always been that the only black women on this earth are in America. And that's just not true. That's not true at all. And we're only talking about Central and South America and the Caribbeans. There's a whole plethora of black women on the continent. Black Man's Option, myself and the GM, we're on our way to South Africa. As you can see in the background, you have the flag, South African flag waving, and I don't even want to get into that. That's a whole new, how can I say it? That's a whole new smorgasbord of blackness. But oh, hold on for a second, hold on for a second. There we go. A whole new smorgasbord of blackness. But at the same time, I want men to do what's best for them. Explore your options, travel. Some guys like to travel solo, other guys like to come along in groups. And here at the Black Man's Option, we have networking events where we're able to show you a different side of the places that a lot of black men like to travel. Some dudes don't like to travel by themselves, and I get that. Some dudes are rookies, and they need a little bit of hand holding. And at the Black Man's Option, that's what we're about. We're the network group that travels. We're a brotherhood that was started by our founder, and we're here to continue his legacy by getting as many brothers as possible with passports off the plantation. I know this is a short presentation, but we just want to get our feet wet. You know, this is something new for us. You're going to start seeing more content. BMO Radio is coming back in full force. And like I said, we just have, a couple of things, and I can be honest, this is new for us. But we're going to keep the ball rolling, and we're going to keep this thing going. I appreciate everybody here. And if anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat now. Or if you want to come up and say one or two things, I'll drop the link in the box, in the group chat, and we'll bring you on. All right, well, gentlemen, I appreciate you coming here and spending 20 minutes with me. Like I said, it was it's new for us, but you're gonna see more content. Like, share, and subscribe to the Black Man's Option. We have our follow us on the Instagram and follow us on Facebook. We have a whole group of almost 20,000 brothers, like-minded brothers that share info and tips on how to get around, move around, and if you want to do this, get out the matrix stuff, we have a support group that helps you do that. I appreciate everybody coming out. Be on the lookout for us. We're gonna be popping up, showing up a whole lot more, and doing the things that we want to do. But I want to leave y'all on this. Don't let these people in the matrix shame you into thinking that there aren't any other black women out there, because that's just not true. There is a plethora of melanin in all sizes, shapes, and colors. You have your pick. Appreciate you, brothers. Y'all have a good night.